I wanted to share something with you today that occurred to me yesterday just by chance. It wasn't planned, it wasn't prepared. In fact, I almost missed what I considered to be a privilege. And I've been a photographer now for about 8 years. Before I was a photographer, I was the first multimedia wine personality on American television and radio and print and in books. And then I did it in the UK for a while. And the pleasure that I had was when I was with a group of people in a room doing a presentation. It was a performance. It wasn't really a presentation in the sense of, the yawn, boring wine tastings that so many of us are familiar with. This was a performance. Anecdotes, amusing stories, making fun of myself, which is very easy for me to do and very simple for other people to do. And then after a car accident, I was recovering and decided that I wanted to do what I had dreamt about doing from the age of 6. And growing up during the swinging 60s in Britain, seeing my hero, still my hero, he's still with us, David Bailey, and with Gene Shrimpton and Twiggy and all of these swinging 60s icons, I always pictured myself being behind the camera, being the creative fuse that managed to generate the power of the photograph of these memorable people posing in front of the camera. So when I gave up being the wine man, the wine guy, the wine bloke, I'd fulfilled so many of my dreams. I met so many people that I had considered to be my heroes. And I'd given a lot of pleasure to people through my work, through my craft. I worked hard at it. And during those days, those heady days, I averaged about 3 to 4 hours sleep a night. And when people asked me what I did, I said, I don't work. And they said, but I don't understand. You're always busy. I said, well, the point is that what I do isn't work. What I do is such pleasure to me that I can't wake up fast enough in the morning to get to work. And I actually love every moment of it. And that happened when I picked up the camera. Having been in front of the camera, and now I was behind it, I had learnt so much that it was like a duck to water. Oh, yeah, there's certain things that I had to learn. During the recovery period, I can't remember what it was now. I think it was maybe 6 months, 9 months. I watched from first thing in the morning to last thing at night every video I possibly could on YouTube about photography. And then I started working with models who were very generous with their time and their patience, until I got to a point where I was photographing some of the most amazing, most beautiful creatures on the planet, and having this privilege. Life to me has been a privilege to photograph them. But we live in turbulent times, and we can document things with the camera. But I had an experience last night, and I just felt that it was so uplifting. I wanted to share this with you, and then I'm going to show you a video. It's a video of photographs that I captured. I was having a very fragile day I have an ill wife. I have some issues medically, which I really can't be bothered with, but nonetheless I have them. And with all this gloom and doom on television and these disasters and terrible, terrible things, people getting murdered and killed, and I mean murdered and killed in wars. I should have finished that sentence. It gets to all of us emotionally, and I was very much in a bad spot yesterday. I was feeling very fragile, so I went out and got a very cold, ice cold Starbucks coffee, and then I went to a park near where I live, and I'd taken some photos there. And I don't know if they're any good. I haven't even looked at them yet. But as I was leaving, this young couple pulled up. And there was the young man, very good-looking young man, in a waistcoat, vest, and looking very smart. And then across from him was this gorgeous young woman in a bridal dress. And I said, what's going on? He said, well, we're getting married. I said, when? Now. Where? Here. And he pointed to this lake that I adore. I spend a lot of time photographing. And there's a bridge alongside it. And he told me that he had proposed to his almost bride on that bridge. And they were just having the two of them, her father, and somebody to officiate. And that was the wedding. Very simple, just very, very intimate and very special. And they were clearly in love, which in this day and age, I can't tell you, it just made me feel so good. It made me feel so good. They were young and they were in love. Even in these times, how wonderful. And I said to him, so I guess you don't have a photographer? He said, no. So I said, look, I have my small walk-around camera and a good lens on it, but it's not the camera that makes the photographs, it's the person either side of it. And with a couple as good-looking as you, how can I fail to get some nice photos? Would you allow a stranger to make an offer of a small wedding gift and take 45 minutes and make some photographs? I won't be here for the ceremony because I have to get back to my wife, but I can certainly do the rest of the photos. And they were thrilled. And I came home, and within 2 hours, I got the photos out to them. And what it made me realize is that there are moments that we might overlook. There are moments, you don't have to be a photographer. You can be involved in any aspect of a daily routine or of your career. There are moments where we pass people all the time and we don't talk to them. But I notice things. I'm a photographer. I notice things. This would have been very hard not to see. You can see there's a couple about to, I thought they were dressed up to have some pre-wedding photos taken, but I didn't realize this was about to be the wedding. And who cares if it's for 400 people and it costs $100 billion on a remote island somewhere? I think this, what they did, was more, I was going to say more special. I don't think that's grammatically correct, but I think this was such a beautiful, meaningful occasion. And I was so, I'll use the word for the third time, privileged to be there and for them to allow me to make the images of them. So I want to share a very, very brief video which I sent to them, contains a collection of their photographs. And I want to ask you, if you're a photographer, to be more aware of what's around you. I mean, so many photographers are focused, literally, pun intended, they're focused on landscape, they're focused on macro, they're focused on street photography, and then there are those of us that prefer, I do all of that, but I prefer photographing people. And what an opportunity this was to make not a difference in their lives, but to give them some memories from a professional snapper that they can enjoy. Now, I must say, I took a few moments with the photos and I thought this would make a great portrait as if it was done in a studio. So I don't do post-production except to lighten the pictures. I capture everything in the viewfinder, but on a couple of occasions here, I went into post-production. I took out the fauna and flora that was surrounding us, and I just put a studio backdrop in it. And I think they were very happy with it. That's all I want to share with you. There are special moments, and we should be aware of them, and we should make ourselves available to make a little difference in somebody else's life.